With apologies, but no royalties to Ric Flair. Woo! It's Anaheim 1 week. We're stoked. Hashtag Deep Field. Catch the fever. Are you ready for Monster Energy Supercross? I sure am. I'm feeling it, man. I got my energy drinks like this. I got my energy drinks like this. I don't have the other one right now because I left a bunch of them at Mathis's house when we did our Racer X preview shows, but I got this. So I got Monster, I got Rockstar, I got Red Bull. Heck, I even got Arma with Boost and Focus. I am ready. I got RD Coffee. And here, I got this mug that I got for hosting a press conference of the Super Motocross World Championship in here. But you don't need ginseng, taurine, vitamin B, or caffeine to get jacked up for Anaheim because it's hashtag Deep Field. It's Happy New Year. It's everything we wanted to see. And now I'm going to water down our expectations. Started this YouTube channel a year ago with a shocking video where I stuck my neck out there with a wild prediction that there would only be 5 winners in Monster Energy Supercross in 2022, and we ended up having 4 in the first 4 weeks. 4 in the first 4 weeks. But the damn held. The damn held. And the 4 winners hung on until the very end when Marvin Musquin snuck in a late season win to make for indeed 5 winners. My prediction video turned out right. And I really had just had raw data backing me up. This is now 4 straight years with 5 winners. And I know we enter every year thinking, no, this is the year where it's going to be different. It's probably not. I'm not as confident as I was last year, but why not get the clicks on a video with a nice thumbnail, little clickbait? Yeah, I'm going to predict 5 winners again based on the raw data. But it's not totally like anti-energy drink. No, not at all. There's still lots of energy to be had. Some of it from this, some of it from being pumped in Anaheim, and some of it from my sponsor, Anti-Gravity Batteries. Yeah, you can get the lightweight battery. I got one right here. Look how small this thing is. It's so small. It is so light. It's used by the likes of Monster Energy, Yamaha, Star Racing, and Monster Energy Kawasaki. That's right. Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson. This battery, their bikes, lighter than your stock bike's battery, or this one, which weighs the same as your stock bike's battery, but has more power. So your bike will start more often and more quickly when you need it. There's even a bigger battery that is built in jump starting if you're in a climate where you don't start your bike in December and January, then you forget and have to get it started again in the springtime. Go to antigravitybatteries.com for more on that. Okay, I don't need that level of energy running through my body right now. I'm pumped in Anaheim. And even though I know there's probably only going to be 5 winners, I don't mean that in a negative way. In fact, that's what makes it so exciting to watch the season unfold. And I'm going to give you the clues that we have to look for as to how this championship gets won and why we end up getting 5 winners when it seems like we should have 8 or 9 or 10. It always starts like this. Everyone thinks they can win at the opener, but everyone's in different stages guessing on bike settings. They're in different stages of nervousness and calmness. Some of them, I think we've seen Ken Roczen and Justin Barcia, who have 7 round 1 wins combined. They're the type of guys where I don't think pressure and nerves really affect them like they do others. So they tend to ride more like themselves at the opener, whereas other guys that are a little more on the mental side, I think they struggle more at the opening rounds. And then they start to get calm and they rise up to the same level as those opening round specialists. Everyone's guessing on bike setups. The tracks maybe don't feel quite like the test track. And that leads to a dynamic first couple of weeks. 4 winners in 4 rounds last year. Everyone was guessing on bike setup. Cooper Webb and Aaron Plessinger had runner-up finishes in the first 2 rounds last year. It seemed like their KTMs were going to be fine. Roczen won the opener. It seemed like his Honda was going to be fine. Then it all fell apart. Guessing at the opening round. Leads to a dynamic couple of weeks until we get to around round 5. And as I said last year, really 3 to 5 is where the championship is won and lost. That's what really separates the pretenders and the contenders. So that's what's so fun to watch. These first couple of weeks, you really got to drill down, honestly, both over and under analyze everything you've seen happen to determine what it really means for the bulk of the season. And then when you strap in for that bulk of the season, it can still be good. You've determined who's ripping. Last year, Tomac, Anderson, super fun to watch. They're ripping. That leads to a dynamic championship chase where just one mistake could lead to someone's undoing. Anderson went down in Detroit, built himself a big hole in points, had a couple other run-ins with other riders, and Tomac had the big points lead that really paid off because Tomac actually twisted up his knee and nearly allowed Anderson to get back in it. If Anderson had a few more points at midseason, it would have been down to the wire with Tomac riding through injury last year. So that's how this championship unfolds. Crazy at the beginning, super focused and intense in the middle, and then a little more relaxed at the end while some people are in management mode and other riders take advantage. Now that we know that, let's look at how the 2023 season could turn out. There are no questions really surrounding Eli Tomac and Jason Anderson. Everyone expects them to do just what they did last year, which is win a bunch of races and contend for the title. Zero changes at all for Anderson. Same teams. Kawasaki didn't change the bike. He's working with Brock Tickle, who's the same trainer, going to be working in California and New Mexico. I don't think anyone's worried about Anderson at all, including Anderson himself. Should be fine. Tomac does have a new Yamaha, and even if he struggles with that, it doesn't really matter because even in bad years, Tomac is good for a couple of wins and usually borderline title contention, even at his worst. Of course, we've got to question Tomac's headed toward retirement. He said in multiple interviews he's probably going to do Supercross only. That's what he's signed up for right now. I don't know if that's going to change things, his level of motivation, his willingness to risk it. But I think you can pencil in wins for those two. The dynamic really gets interesting when you get to the next group. Everyone is buzzing about Chase Sexton. Very few are buzzing about Cooper Webb. And to me, that's the critical juncture. And all the preview videos I've done for Racer X and our SMX Insider show on the Super Motocross YouTube channel, like and subscribe to that one while you're at it. You want all Weege all the time. That's really the critical thing. There is an assumption that Sexton has already taken that leap. It sure looked that way in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross last year, that he's already at the championship level. Will that translate? Will being that good in motocross mean that he's that good in Supercross? And I usually Sexton's skills are better indoors and out. Can he avoid those big mistakes? Is he where he wants to be with the motorcycle and knowing how to manage? We'll see. It's a big leap. It appears imminent and obvious and inevitable that he will be there. But there have been many talented riders who looked like they were about to make that leap and couldn't. It is such a tip of the spear situation. Can Sexton get it done? And then for Webb, what a difference a year makes. Unbelievable that he was the odds-on favorite really going into last season. We thought he'd be even better on the new bike. Said he had the best offseason ever. That didn't work out at all. Now, what this means, the fact that Webb, who is so strong, we thought a year ago, struggling, what that means is somebody that we expect to be good won't be. Last year it was Webb. Who is it that will disappoint this year? Will it be Tomac or Anderson or Sexton or someone else that will have a bad season, be with injury or just struggling in general starts or the bike or whatever it might be? That's the thing that makes it so hard to predict coming into the season, and that's why we end up getting fewer winners than we expect. But to be honest, that dynamic, someone like Anderson having a renaissance season, while someone we would have never expected to struggle like Webb, is what makes this so exciting. It's why you have to watch every week. It's why after a couple of weeks last year, you had to stroke your chin and say, well, what's up? Is Webb going to figure this out? Is he going to get it dialed? That will be someone, maybe Webb, maybe someone else this season. And that's the dynamic that we don't expect coming in. And I think that actually makes it more exciting in some ways than it just say everybody is doing awesome all the time. Sexton, will he make the leap? Webb, will he get back to where he was? And then you've got a whole bunch of other hungry mutts in there looking to get their hands on a race win. It probably starts with Malcolm Stewart, who was close last year. And I think everybody knows he just has to have that belief in himself. He has to know, yes, when I go onto the starting gate, I can beat any of those guys. And he's getting closer and closer to that. The great Mitch Payton has often said sometimes that first win almost has to happen on accident for the rider to actually believe it. Malcolm keeps putting himself in that position, and you have to feel that one of those days that win is going to fall into his lap, and who even knows what happens once he kicks that door down. But let's just say that Stewart and Webb and Sexton and Anderson and Tomac get wins. That's already it. We've already maxed out. We've already gotten to the 5 wins, and that doesn't include a lot of other guys who'd like to have one. With Barcia and Roczen probably right near the top of that list, everyone's got to be thinking that this great, beautiful renaissance of Roczen on a Suzuki, and he rode so well the last time we saw him race in Paris. He was straight up better than Tomac there, albeit on a Honda. You can't count out the fact that Roczen could get a race win. That wouldn't be surprising. Barcia sneaks him in there quite often. Mootscan sneaks him in there quite often. And there's a bunch of other riders who people would like to see win. Aaron Plessinger would be a popular one. And the curious case of Adam Cianciarulo. What Cianciarulo will we see? Will we finally see the unbelievable speed but combined with health? Or will the health be there and no longer the speed? Or will we finally have both? Dynamic. Maybe that's what makes this so exciting. It's kind of like watching playoffs in any other sport. The wild card weekend starts off with 8 or 16 teams, each with a shot, just saying as long as we can get in, we can win. And then they slowly start to narrow down. These first couple of weeks are essentially the first couple of weeks of playoffs in Supercross. By the 3rd through 5th round, we'll have a very good idea of what we're in for. we'll have an answer probably to that Sexton versus Webb question. We'll know for sure if Anderson and Tomac are as good in 23 as they were in 22. And we'll know if anybody else can get in there. Craig, Nichols, Dylan Ferrandis, riders who are waiting for their opportunity. Who's going to step up and who's going to step down? Ultimately, that will determine why we're going to get 5 winners again. Not as confident in that as last year, only because this will be 5 years in a row with 5 winners, which is probably pushing the odds quite a bit. But watching the dynamic unfold and how we're going to get there, who's going to succeed and who's going to fall off, that's actually, to me, just as exciting as knowing there were going to be 8 winners in a season. Thanks to Anti-Gravity Battery for the sponsorship. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try my best to cram these videos in throughout the racing season amongst all the other videos that I'm doing as well.